I moved to Canada in March 2022 as a permanent resident. So I had lived in Nigeria for the longest part of my life, and my family and my friends had moved to Canada. So they said, Grace, this is a great opportunity. You should apply while you have the opportunity, while the opportunity is still out there. I had a stable and comfortable life back in Nigeria, but I thought, well, why not? So I did. And a couple of years later, yes, I got my permanent residence visa. I landed on March 18th, 2022. What did I think life would look like when I moved here? So to be honest, I had no expectations of Canada whatsoever. I've heard horror stories of people who had moved and were in not the best situation. So I kind of zeroed my mind that I wouldn't expect anything, because if you do not expect anything, then it's easier to deal with disappointment. But when I moved to Canada, God began to nudge me. He reminded me about the scripture that says, the expectation of the righteous will not be cut short. And I said to myself, Grace, you literally have no expectations. And if you do not expect anything, then that's exactly what you will get. So I began to reframe my mindset to begin to look for opportunities and even see just moving to Canada as a reason to be grateful for. What was the reality? So as I mentioned before, I had no expectations whatsoever. And also I had lived in the UK for my master's, and I also had visited Canada a couple of times in the past. So I kind of understood what to expect. And the reality, based on what my low expectations, that's what I had, because job hunting was, it was not the easiest. Like premium shege, as my Nigerians would say. You would hunt for jobs, you would apply for loads of jobs, so much so that I just, at some point, I felt stressed, and I told my sister that I wanted to go back to Nigeria. That was barely 3 months into me arriving here in Canada. So you can understand how I was frustrated. I was someone who lived independently by myself for the longest time. Now I had to live with my sister. I had to depend on her for the period where I hadn't gotten a job. It wasn't the easiest, but the truth is, God came through for me, and my persistence and my patience actually paid off. I would say that the number one thing that's kept me going is God. I'm a Christian girl, and literally I can't do without anything without God. So I would say God is the number one thing, but my family and my community has played a great role in where I am today. The job that I got, so I work as a product designer here in Canada, and I got one of the first roles, but the second role I got was purely through networking. Through my network, I was able to get the second role. So I would say that what has kept me going is God, my family, and my community. What's one tip that you give someone who just landed here in Canada? I would say that the number one tip, lots of tips that I can give, but if I just had to stick with one, I would say be curious. Curiosity will take you places, because when you are a curious person, it shows that you are flexible and you are adaptable. So if they say do X, ask why. I would say try to understand why they're asking you to do things in a particular way, because when you understand the why, then you can then apply it across board. The way we do things in our home country and the way they do things here would have their nuances. They're slightly different, so you want to learn why they're asking you that to do things in a particular way, and then run with it, right? You want to book coffee chats with people who are in your area or in your field, or who even come from your home country, to understand how things are done here, because that will then be the resource that you will leverage to get to where you need to be. I hope this was helpful. All right, thank you.